Summer travel is always trouble, but you should brace for it to be much worse this year. Let's connect the dots. One of the big problems is there are fewer planes, thanks to the safety concerns with the Boeing 737 MAX. Airlines have taken them out of service. That means American, United, and Southwest Airlines have removed all flights slated to fly the troubled aircraft from their schedules until August. Right now, it's not clear when the plane involved in 2 recent deadly crashes will be cleared to fly again. But that's not all. There will also be fewer TSA agents this summer. The Trump administration is reassigning airport security personnel to work at the U.S.-Mexico border. The goal is to help support Homeland Security as they deal with an influx of immigrants on the southern border. Travel experts anticipate that move will create longer lines at airport security. But there is one bright spot. Gas prices are falling, so it may be a lot cheaper and a lot easier just to hit the road this summer. Connecting the dots, I'm Marcelino Benito for H-Town Rush.